This is Eric from Hydrotech Pipe Services. We are doing a typical private sewer lateral inspection, commonly known as a PSL inspection. In most cities, it could be qualified as a SLIP sewer lateral inspection program service. In this case, what we're doing is we're actually going to film the line and inspect coming upstream from the city's main, as due to the length of this particular line, it more or less was a very difficult run just to get all the way out to the city's connection. And this connection, where the homeowner's private sewer lateral meets the city's main line, this is all still under homeowner liability as far as repairs, maintenance, and so forth. So, having said that, let's begin. We're going to come backwards, as I said, upstream against the flow. What we're also going to do here is you're at approximately 104 feet from the point of entry, which is in the rear of the structure. We're going to zero it out. And this will give us a very good indication as far as linear footage of the 3 different materials associated with this sewer lateral, as well as the building sewer under the structure. So now we'll begin extracting the line. It will read in negative, but it is the same linear footage. So right here, this is the sweep of VCP, which is clay pipe, which terminates at the city's Y connection. As you can see, that is a joint. So right now, the camera is approximately halfway under the city street on which we are inspecting. As we get closer to the curb and gutter and sidewalk, you will see a transition of materials used for this sewer lateral. small gap between the two lengths of clay pipe is subject to exfiltration of raw sewage into the groundwater. But for the most part, most of these joints look like they are in very good shape as far as offsets, cracks, breaks. None visible so far. So we have resistance at approximately 28 feet plus or minus. We have our material change. This puts us at the property line of the structure to the public right-of-way sewer. This material is Orangeburg piping, which is your classic petroleum-based paper piping. It tends to oval out and blister, more or less delaminate, and becomes out of the round and oval shaped. Very susceptible to root intrusion, and also if you look to the left you can see the delamination of materials and also blistering. Which, when these blisters do pop, you do get more root infiltration as well as the raw sewage exfiltration. Right above the 34-foot 4-inch, you can actually see there is a hole in the blister. And then to the left, underneath the date, underneath the 3, you can see the just deterioration and ripping of the paper product pipe. Very normal for this age of line. This heavy blistering leaves these channels and canyons. And as you can see, the delamination has just followed up each blister and is again leaking and would be considered a deficiency. You do have minor root intrusion up at the date, up at 3-4, the left corner of the screen. And we should be getting closer to the structure building sewer, which will be of the cast iron material. Under most programs and real estate transactions, escrow requires only the videoing of the building sewer from the structure out to the city main. In this case, the access was in the rear of the structure, so you will be able to see what cast iron looks like. But for the most part, it is not a requirement to actually inspect the underside of any structure. However, we highly recommend it in any real transaction of property. That's an interesting shot right on the lower portion of the screen. That delamination, that bubble there, when snaked, Bose cables can pass through and just continually rip that up and relieve the line, but at the same time more or less do a little more damage to the line. So one must be careful and know the neighborhoods that they are videoing or cleaning lines. This appears to be a test tee in the yard where we make our transition change, and right now we are at the structure of the structure sewer line where the material again changes, this time to cast iron, as said before, plus or minus 65 to 66 feet. This is the part of the sewer that is not required to be videoed in the transaction of any real properties. But in this case, you get to see underneath the structure that is approximately 53 years old what happens to cast iron. You will see a lot of sags and bellies, and at times the camera will go black. That's when it becomes totally submerged in a offset or depression, a sag or belly as we choose to call them. an interesting shot here. What you're seeing is just a pool, which tells us there's probably a bottomless pipe that the cast iron has completely deteriorated and it has left a void, causing ponding of the sewer. In this case, you can see foreign matter such as toilet paper waste off to the right. It just stays behind. Never really evacuating the line under normal flushing, as most of this cast iron creates somewhat of a teeth, and stalactites and stalagmites that will grab paper and waste and hold them back, ultimately causing a buildup, to which ultimately causes a stop up. Again, you have matter in there that is just lingering. And we are now submerging so we're underwater for a good foot, and you can see the pool, the ponding. This is interesting. The upper ceiling of the pipe is very much in the round, whereas halfway down you have major buildup in a channel of deterioration, which means there's no pipe. And again, you have a belly or a sag in the line. Typically there is no bottom of this pipe at this point, as our camera head is fully submerged. This one is rather long in linear footage, so that would actually be the beginning of the run of belly. And you can see about half inch or so of rotted pipe, just creating a very minor channel for which waste to pass. And once again, another belly as we come close to the end of our line. Again, this is all under the structure. And this is the end of the line, exiting from the cleanout. This was done from a 4-inch cleanout. Eric from Hydrotech. Thank you for watching my videos.